Hello everyone and all, welcome to the Anime Earlier, and today we're taking a little detour from our journey up the tower. Today I want to speculate and discuss on what the 3 wishes Rachel received from Gustang actually were. As in, what would Rachel wish for in that scenario? After all, thanks to Rachel's sort of plot story thread with the treasure eating stingray, Gustang got some items. And she said to Rachel, I'll give you 3 wishes for bringing me these 3 valuable items. Personally, I think Gustang was being a bit too generous with that offer, but here we are. If you agree or disagree with any of the things I say within this video, then of course let me know in the comment section down below, and let me know your ideas as well. But moving on, let's start with our first idea, and that is of course Rachel wanting to regain her appearance as Icarus. Now, thinking about it logically, is it possible for someone as powerful as Gustang, being that he is the head of the Lipio Ren family, would he be able to change someone's appearance that drastically? Part of me says yes, and a part of me says no. The reason being is, yes, he probably has the power to do so, but SIU probably wouldn't want to keep drawing Icarus over and over again when Rachel becomes more and more important to the story. Plus, it could confuse the audience who have either skipped the hidden floor or just altogether forgotten about the Icarus avatar. So I think that kind of drastic change in her design isn't going to pay off. I don't think that's going to happen. But her regaining the power of Icarus could be something that actually is explored, and something that is within the possibilities of the tower and what Gustang can offer Rachel. However, giving Rachel more power can actually occur in many different ways. You can give Rachel the power directly, like she was using with the Icarus avatar, or you can give her a loyal guardian, similar to how Heldon gave that ghost character, the massive spearbearer, to Rachel at the start of season 1. Now, speaking of that character, we haven't seen him since the ending of season 1, and of course in the anime he vanishes when Rachel gets stabbed by Hao. But having someone as a loyal servant for Rachel's character does make a lot of sense, as we've always seen her try to gain control over other people. She wants to feel like she's in a more powerful and dominant position when it comes to being the leader of her team. Just look at the way she tried to get Hulkwin to become her sword. Didn't really work out too well for her, but if someone like Gustang orders one of his family members to be Rachel's personal assistant, guard, whatever you want to call it, in order to assist Rachel in anything she wants, thus making Rachel more powerful without actually giving Rachel physical power herself. Now, I think another wish that Rachel could ask for in this situation would be to learn more about Arlene from Gustang. After all, Gustang travelled with Arlene when they were all travelling up the tower first of all. And this in turn would then give Rachel more and more leverage over Bam in the future, because she would now know more specific details about Bam's mother, Arlene. Of course, we ended the kind of Hell Train interaction of Bam and Rachel when Rachel said, I know what you are. And Bam was kind of still curious. She was still hooked back in to Rachel's deceitful lies and her manipulation tactics. And her gaining more information about Arlene, about V, could actually, work in her favour pretty logically when it comes to keeping Bam at arm's length. And yes, she might even ask to learn more about V as well, and that could possibly use up a second wish if Rachel was to do that, because of course Gustang doesn't seem too fond of V from what we saw of his body language and demeanour when talking about V on the floor of death. So Gustang might be saying, okay fine, I'll tell you about Arlene, but if you want to learn about V, that's wish number 2 taken up. Because I'm not going to talk about him unless you force me to. And you know what, I can see it doing that, because A, it works better for Gustang, and B, it furthers the plot a little bit and gives us, the audience, more information, while giving Rachel more power with that information and knowledge. Now, a part of me thinks that Rachel will ask to become a princess of Jihad, not knowing about the 3 orders that the King Jihad gave out in having the members of the Pompadour Wren family killed. Of course, that is Gustang's family. So we can kind of rule the chances of this happening out, unless you factor in that Gustang has a part of Jihad's blood in storage for whatever reason. Because we know that Gustang had a hand to play in the creation of the Princess of Jihad system, with the whole kind of way that it's implemented with the blood injection. So it's possible that he has the knowledge to create a Princess of Jihad if he has the right materials to do so. But again, with this war looming over, I don't see that being a possibility. However, I do think that the other wish could be used within a future possible arc, as we could see Endorsi getting targeted by a fighter or someone associated with Gustang's family. I think I am of the belief that the White Snake character introduced at the start of Season 3 is actually working for Gustang. Now, that's just a theory I have in my mind. I don't actually know the yes or no to that answer. But if this was the case, it could make a bit of sense logically. That character would be doing 2 jobs for Gustang, keeping an eye on Bam and looking out for Endorsi, ready to strike when needed. And the other option would, well, other task he would be tasked with, would be finding out information about Jihad's forces, hence why he wants to go to the nest. But here is what I have to say about the future prospects of where Endorsi ties into this. Now, if Rachel wants revenge, and that's one of her wishes, is to get revenge on Endorsi, it would have to be revenge exacted by Rachel herself. So if anyone associated with Gustang's family were to bring Endorsi in, so Rachel would have Endorsi grovelling at her feet, maybe paralysed. That of course is where the White Snake man comes in and paralyses Endorsi when he sees her, and then brings her to Rachel, betraying Bam and obviously running away with Eon as a hostage or just setting her free, whichever that works out. But at the end of the day, I do think that Rachel is going to ask for assistance in exacting her twisted plot of revenge against Endorsi. Remember, the last thought we had before Rachel was put in front of Gustang was she wanted to get revenge on Endorsi for humiliating her and all those times before. So I think that is highly possible. So in closing, I think Rachel's 3 wishes will consist of getting revenge against Endorsi for all the times Endorsi has humiliated her, power, whether that is in form of an item, an ally, or getting stronger herself, or information about past characters like Arlene and V in order to have knowledge with information. All of these wishes sound predictable. I understand that. However, they all align with Rachel's scummy personality. Plus, it also goes back to Rachel's dream and belonging in wanting to feel a sense of importance / control over other people. So it lines up with what her character has presented so far within the story. Plus, with these, she would feel like she's changing herself for the better. Of course, we would be thinking Rachel is more scummier and more despicable, but Rachel would be changing for the better in her own vision of better. Remember, Rachel's vision of better was Icarus, but Yuha disagreed. And speaking of Yuha, I do not think that she would get a wish, unfortunately. I feel like Rachel won't give her one, despite them being friends and them being together. But I ask you, as the audience watching, this one question. If you had one wish from Gustang, what would you wish for? Personally speaking, I would ask him to use my proper name and add respect to his tone. Because Gustang does not see anyone as his equal, and this would make him in internal pain. This would make his face sour at the idea of having to give respect to someone that isn't his equal and treat them as if they were. Because he's been calling people vermin, cockroaches and insects and all sorts of disgusting things. And yeah, I think it would be pretty cool to put him in his place and just watch him suffer internally like that. Not that I dislike Gustang, I think he's pretty cool, but his attitude needs work. So there you have it. I hope you've enjoyed this video of theory/discussion, and of course, let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. Hit like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. But I hope you have an amazing day, and I'll see you next time as we climb further up the tower. Stay safe, keep smiling, and I'll see you soon. Alligator, Martinet, goodbye.